Part 89. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 881. Suyun, if you are asked to be a staff member of the guidance office, will you be overqualified? After all, he is a person who has perfect scores in all subjects. Susi, they are willing to pay more than 10,000 yuan a month to the front desk, but I don't think it matters. Suyun sighed softly, then we will do it for 3 months. We will not suffer this injustice. That night, Susi made a phone call. Did the company recruit a new girl named Suying? Dear boss, I am your professional manager, not a clerk in the human resources department. The fact that I have just hired a young employee is not something that I, the general manager, would care about. Then check it out and give you 3 minutes. There was a muttering from the other side, and within 3 minutes, another call came. I was just recruited yesterday, in the engineering and technology department. Your surname is Su, and her surname is Su. Is she a relative of yours? Do you need me? Give special care. Susi said indifferently, no, just treat her normally. Boss, why are you calling me here in the middle of the night? Just ask. May is coming. The early summer in Haikan is full of green trees and the climate is suitable. Wen Qiao went to the countryside. Songyu's equestrian training was very good. Wen Qiao checked the historical results of the Macau equestrian competition in previous years and pinched Songyu again. Calculating the time with a watch, I felt that she had a good chance of winning the championship. Qiao, you chose this horse well. The god of war is really amazing. He seems to have spirituality. When Qiao touched the god of war's head, I hope you won't have stage fright when you get to Omar's competition. The god of war was even more obedient under Wen Qiao than under Songyu. Sure enough, it looked like it was humane and knew who its owner was. It will have to be airlifted to Macau in 2 days. Go a few days in advance to let him adapt to the local climate and environment, so that he won't be acclimatized by then. Well, I will arrange it. In the evening, Wen Qiao was browsing equestrian magazines at Fu Nanli's residence and mentioned it to him. I'm going to Macau next week. What to do? Didn't I buy a horse from that closed race course before? I said I would send it to a race. There is a horse racing competition in Macau next week, and I have already signed up for it. Only then did Fu Nanli remember that this was indeed the case. Have I told you? What? My first hobby is golf, and my second favorite is horse racing. Wen Qiao, you really haven't said that I won't meet him on the field again. Fu Nanli smiled slightly, it's very possible. Wen Qiao had a headache. He probably thinks that I am participating in this sport just to please him, right? You don't care what he thinks. I will fly to Macau with you next week. So, when Fu Huaiyong flew to Macau on the Fu family's private plane, his grandson and Wen Qiao were flying to Macau on a civil airliner. Before the plane took off, Wen Qiao and Fu Nanli were sitting in business class seats. They saw the small cockpit door in front opened. The captain and deputy captain in the captain's uniform walked up to Fu Nanli and said hello to him. The star captain of Dongchuan Airlines is so honored to fly on their plane. The two captains, both in their early 40s, even took out their mobile phones and asked the flight attendant to take a photo with them. After the captains took a group photo, the flight attendant and several flight attendants also hesitated to ask for a group photo. Fu Nanli was a little impatient. Why was he so unprofessional? Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 882. There have been so many celebrities and even foreign royals on his plane, but he has never come out to ask for a photo. These people are really not calm. But when Qiao whispered, just take a photo with them, it's all because I admire you. Fu Nanli patiently took photos with all the flight attendants. The flight attendants returned to the workroom excitedly and were overjoyed. We have been together in Dongchuan for several years, and this is the first time that Captain Fu is willing to take a photo. They all said that Captain Fu listened to his girlfriend, and it seems to be true. Yes, it feels so pampered. The plane flew to Macau and arrived at Macau International Airport in less than 3 hours. The Fu family's private jet was parked on the apron, and the Bentley drove directly to the apron to pick them up. Fu Huaiyong got in the car and slowly drove off the apron. He saw a Dongchuan Airlines plane not far away, on the ramp. The people coming down seemed familiar. It seems to be his grandson. But the car couldn't stay on the tarmac, so he just thought he was wrong. That guy doesn't seem to have taken over the industry in Macau yet, so he probably won't come over. Fu Nanli put his arms around Wen Qiao's waist and got off the plane. Unlike his grandfather, he used his privileges and took the shuttle bus to the parking lot. The two first went to a horse farm near the equestrian competition venue. Song Yu was already there, now wearing a jockey uniform and helmet, running heroically on the field. After a lap, the horse stopped in front of Wen Qiao and jumped off. "Did you come with the god of war? Song Yu, you don't care about your members too much." "Yes, I have been here for several days and have been training. Now that she has participated in the competition, she wants to bring back a trophy for Wen Qiao. Gold, silver, or bronze will do, but she must get a trophy, otherwise Wen Qiao's high hopes for her will be in vain." "Thanks a lot." Song Yu took off the helmet on his head. Qiao, do you want to run around?" Wen Qiao had also sneaked past the god of war near his grandfather's house before, and now he was feeling a little nervous. "Then let's run around. There is a changing room here. You can change into your equestrian clothes." When Wen Qiao came out again, he was fully armed, wearing a knight's uniform, a protective vest, breeches and riding boots, and a helmet on his head. She rode the god of war and galloped freely on the verdant racecourse, while Song Yu cheered wildly outside the venue. The shouting made Fu Nanli's head hurt. "Mr. Fu, Qiao is great." "Fu Nanli. My girlfriend is great, do you still want to tell me?" Wen Qiao ran around in a circle, and the god of war was very pleased with him. He ran very fast and didn't stumble at all. As fast as a lightning test, he finally stopped in front of Fu Nanli. He is high-spirited and has shining eyes. He feels proud to have a girlfriend who is excellent in every aspect, but it does not prevent him from being jealous. Wen Qiao turned over and got off the horse. Song Yu stepped forward, one step faster than Fu Nanli. Qiao, I think you are also very talented as a jockey. Your speed is not slower than mine. The god of war and your cooperation are also very good. Wen Qiao shrugged, "Then I will be your substitute." The jockey club was held on the second day at the Taper Racecourse in the Taper Reclamation area of Macau. The Taper Racecourse is one of the largest racecourses in Asia. There are more than 1,000 race horses in the stable and the track covers an area of 450,000 square meters. The venue can accommodate nearly 30,000 spectators. On the top floor are various private rooms for the rich. Fu Huaiyong and Fu Nanli's private rooms are adjacent to each other. The floor-to-ceiling windows on the front have a wide view. Wen Qiao holds binoculars in his hands and can see the farthest stable at a glance. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 883. Fu Nanli was sitting on the sofa nearby, and a waiter even came in to bring red wine and whiskey. "Sir, if you need anything else, you can tell me." Fu Nanli pulled someone to sit on the sofa. "The game hasn't started yet, don't be nervous." Wen Qiao raised an eyebrow. "I believe in Song Yu." Fu Nanli pressed his temples. You two really trust and appreciate each other. There is a TV in the private room, which shows the betting situation. Currently, the most people are betting on Mr. Fu's Thunder. The bet on second place is a horse called Hero from Argentina. Third. Wen Xiao's horse betting ranked 98th. There were 100 horses participating in the finals, and she was ranked 98 because it was the first time her horse had participated in such a competition. The odds of the bet are 530 to 1. Wen Xiao calculated that if her God of War finished third, she could earn 10 million, if she finished second, she could earn 30 million, and if she won the championship, she would earn 100 million. In this way, her ranking on the wealth list will rise a lot. Moreover, it allows the old man to see her strength. In the private room next door, Fu Huayong took a sip of tea. Uncle Li gave him a telescope. Old man, your thunderous condition is very good. You can take a look at it in the stable. There is also live footage of the stables on TV. It's all for rich people like them to watch in private rooms. That Hero, which one is it? This is the only opponent he likes. In the stable next door to Jinglei, he is black and strong, but not very explosive. He will definitely not be able to compete with your Jinglei for such a short distance of 1000 meters. Are there any other horses with potential? Currently there are none. Fu Huayong put down the telescope in his hand. Then I will also put some money on my Jinglei and bet on him to win. How much pressure do you want? A little less, just 20 million. Okay, I'll tell the president of the jockey club right now. On the other side, Fu Nanli asked Wen Xiao, do you want to place a bet? Wen Xiao, come on, I'm crushing my God of War. How far should I press him? Wen Xiao looked at the horse under the lens of the telescope and smiled, because it is so calm, I give it a chance to win first place by 10 million. She bets 10 million on her own. If the God of War really wins the championship, the odds will double in the end and she can get 200 million. If you don't get it, you will lose 10 million. Just think of it as throwing money at her God of War to gain courage. The rich people who lined up in more than a dozen private rooms were either betting on Mr. Fu's Thunder or suppressing the powerful foreign player Hero. Everyone said that the name God of War was a majestic one, but his strength was definitely not worthy of the name. It was really mediocre. The 30,000 spectators at the racecourse immediately became excited when they saw the horses coming out of the gate. Wen Xiao stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling window, holding a telescope and saw Songyu and the God of War. Songyu knew the general direction of Wen Xiao's private room and waved to her. Fu Huayong in the private room next door sneered, do you think this is a show? Why are you waving your hands? It doesn't look stable at first glance. Uncle Li echoed, that's right. It's your first time to participate in a competition. If you don't have the spirit of a general, you will definitely lose in a while. Fu Huayong is not very interested. He wins every year. Frankly speaking, he has no sense of expectation anymore. Young people are not good at it, they still have to work hard. After the preparations were completed, a gunshot was fired, and all the horses rushed out like arrows. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 884. It was the first time for Aries to participate in the competition. He seemed to be less experienced than the veteran players. He ran a step slower and ranked in the middle. No surprise that the first and second ones are Jinglei and Hero. The audience was shouting and shouting. The weather in Macau was hot. It was already in the afternoon and the maximum temperature reached 30 degrees. The audience shouted until their voices were hoarse and they were dripping with sweat. The air conditioning in the private room was neither cold nor hot, and Wen Xiao's telescope lens kept following the God of War and Songyu. Fu Nanli finally stood up from the sofa and picked up another telescope. How was your run? Did you fall behind too much? Wen Xiao, it's okay. What's the date? No 85. Fu Nanli raised an eyebrow. My birthday. Wen Qiao's attention was focused on the god of war, and he just gave a perfunctory Young Master Fu felt a little relieved and temporarily added 10 million to bet on number 85 to win. If the god of war wins in the end, the money Wen Qiao gets will still increase. Naturally, Fu Nanli will also win a sky-high bet. The god of war, who was still in the middle just now, seemed to have suddenly gained strength. Song Yu's eyes were firm and he looked straight ahead. He held the reins, raised his butt slightly, and pursued forward with all his strength. He passed one horse, and another, and with 200 meters left, he was already in third place. In the private room, Uncle Li was a little surprised and reported to the uninterested old man, the newbie, the horse racing horse called God of War, has finished third. The old man snorted lightly, only the third one. After a while, Uncle Li's voice was full of excitement, second, surpassing hero, second. Fu Huaiyang finally stood up, picked up the binoculars, and looked at the race course. He saw that the rising star was only 4 or 5 meters away from his thunder, and it was biting hard. He was not in a hurry, but became interested. This kind of game is beautiful. Everyone at the race course went crazy. They all invested a little money, and if they lost, they lost. They didn't feel bad. Spectators always hope for a dark horse to appear in the race. Only in this way can people enjoy the race, have something to watch, and have something to talk about. Come on, God of War. The God of War rushes. Go go go. Before the game, it was unremarkable and no one paid attention to it. A horse with odds as high as 530 to 1 now actually got the support of most of the audience. Fu Huaiyang's private room can hear the sounds on the field, and naturally many people can be heard cheering for the God of War. He smiled nonchalantly and followed the good-looking horse named Aries. It turns out that this horse is not only good-looking, but also not a showman. It has 2 abilities. It seems that he made a mistake. For the last 50 meters, the 2 horses were neck and neck. The thundering jockey felt a little nervous and turned to look at Aries and Song Yu. Song Yu remained motionless as a mountain, and the God of War showed unusual strength and determination. As they move forward bravely, all obstacles become illusions, and they only have the final destination in their eyes. The last 10 meters, 5 meters, neck and neck, always neck and neck. In the last 3 meters, the God of War suddenly exerted his strength. There was another gunshot, and the champion was born. Fu Nanli, it seems that your God of War is one step faster. Wen Qiao shrugged, no matter whether I am first or second, I can win a lot of money. The game time quickly appeared on the public screen on the field. The God of War won the Jockey Club Championship with a slight advantage of 0.3 seconds. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 885. Wen Qiao couldn't help but clapped his hands, excellent. Fu Nanli reached out and rubbed her head, it's you who is outstanding. Wen Qiao put down the telescope, Master, I have helped you make a lot of money again. Fu Nanli sat on the sofa and held him in his arms, well, how should I thank you, my sponsor? Wen Qiao thought hard, I can't remember it at the moment. The man whispered in her ear, and Wen Qiao pushed him away, not serious. Fu Nanli took her hand and stood up, let's go. Where to go? My grandpa is in the private room next door. Wen Qiao and Fu Nanli went to the private room next door together. The old man who had lost tens of millions was not angry, but became more interested, finally there is someone who can fight. The feeling of how lonely it is to be invincible is finally gone. Uncle Li said cautiously, old man, aren't you angry? Fu Huaiyang chuckled, am I such a person who can't afford to lose? With such competitors, the competition is interesting, isn't it? Uncle Li poured tea for the old man, You are so generous. Most people are not as happy as you when they lose a game. If you lose, you lose. Go find out who the owner of this horse is. Okay, I'll go ask the person in charge of the race course. There was a knock on the door, and the old man was a little surprised that the person who came in was his grandson, so the one he saw at the airport yesterday was indeed Nan Li, and he was right. But there was a little tail following behind, which made him a little unhappy. Apparently he came with Wen Qiao to see Marseille. You don't mind, do you? Fu Nanli's words made Fu Huaiyang slightly stunned. What does this unreasonable sentence mean? What? Fu Nanli smiled. Wen Qiao's horse won first place. Grandpa, you don't mind, right? Uncle Li, who was just about to go out to find out about the owner of the God of War, paused. There's something good to watch. At that moment, Fu Huaiyang's expression was quite exciting. After struggling for a while, he sneered, "You are really going to put gold on her face?" Fu Nanli's face darkened. The God of War is indeed hers. She bought a horse from a horse farm in the countryside of Haikan that is about to close down. If you don't believe it, you can check it out. When I bought it, the God of War was still very thin. The jockey of number 85 God of War is Wen Qiao's classmate, named. Wen Qiao knew that he didn't remember his name, so he quickly added, "My name is Song Yu." Well, her name is Song Yu, Yang Yin. Fu Huaiyang looked at Wen Qiao with complicated eyes, but his expression was still ugly. Is it really your horse? Wen Qiao, it's indeed mine. Fu Huaiyang sneered, so you bought this horse and participated in this horse race just to please me? Wen Qiao, you really think too much. You misunderstood. No mercy for the old man. Fu Nanli added, before she came to participate in the competition, she didn't know that you also participated in this horse racing meeting, let alone that Jinglei was your horse. Fu Huaiyang. I do not believe. Wen Qiao held his forehead. Why didn't anyone believe him if he told the truth? If the old man treats her badly, don't expect her to say anything nice to make him happy. She knows that the more she talks down to her, the less he will take her seriously. Not that he had anything to say directly, but at least he was in a happy mood. Believe it or not, I didn't buy the horse just for you. You. Mr. Fu was so angry that he couldn't say a word. Old man, I don't want to lose face. Does this count as abusing the old man? Can I ask for a monthly pass? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 886. Uncle Li hurriedly came back to smooth things over. Hey, the old man told me just now that young people are awesome. He admires the God of War very much. The old man is broad-minded and is not angry at all because he didn't win first place. He said that this competition still belongs to young people. Human. Fu Huaiyang said coldly, talk too much. Uncle Li smiled and said, yes, I am too talkative. Didn't you just want to get to know the owner of the God of War? This. Fu Huaiyang came over with a strike, and Uncle Li immediately fell silent. If he keeps talking, the old man probably really wants him to get out. Fu Nanli also added fuel to the fire. She does have good vision. She just bought a horse from a horse farm that was about to go bankrupt and won the Jockey Club Championship. Wen Qiao. Brother, let's keep a low profile. Your grandpa almost hates me. Fu Huaiyang had a cold face and walked directly out without answering Fu Nanli's words. Fu Nanli and Wen Qiao followed. Let's have dinner together tonight, Grandpa. Fu Huaiyang put on a top hat and said indifferently, you young people and I can't eat together, so I will go back to Biwen. Fu Nanli's lips curved slightly. Send you to the car. The wealthy people in the private rooms on the top floor of the racecourse all witnessed the scene of Mr. Fu leaving the racecourse with a black face. The old man has won the championship 6 times in a row. He must be very angry if he loses this time. That's not the case. I heard that the old man doesn't value this game that much anymore. Because you lost money. Hey, it's only tens of millions. To the old man, it's just small amounts of money. Should he be angry? In the parking lot below the auditorium of the racecourse, Fu Nanli and Wen Qiao watched the old man get into the car. The leaders of the racecourse lined up and watched the old man's car slowly drive away. Wen Qiao went back to the stable behind the racecourse, where Song Yu was feeding the god of war. Seeing Wen Qiao, Song Yu looked excited and quickly handed over the trophy. Qiao Qiao, look at the championship trophy I won for you. Wen Qiao took the trophy and kissed it gently. Fu Nanli. Besides Pipa, there is one more thing to be jealous of. You did so well. Song Yu chuckled, that's because you chose a good horse. The god of war's explosive power is really amazing. You just randomly picked up a little pony and came back to take it. Your vision is incredible. Wen Qiao touched the head of the god of war. Just now, the god of war was killing everyone in all directions and was invincible. Now he has returned to the mode of an obedient little pony, and he rubs against Wen Qiao obediently. Mr. Fu pushed the god of war's head away. Where to rub it? The god of war looked at Wen Qiao with innocent eyes, and Wen Qiao touched its head again. Song Yu, when will you return to Haikan? In 2 days, there are many excellent jockeys here. Share and exchange experiences with them. Then I will bring the god of war back. Okay. The Fu family has a small mansion in Macau, and Fu Nanli wants to take Wen Qiao there. Wen Qiao rejected him. Your grandfather can't come to the stage, but you still take me there. Aren't you trying to provoke him? She suspected that Fu Nanli did it on purpose. Fu Nanli chuckled, don't you think it's quite interesting that the old man was choked to the point of being speechless? Wen Qiao squinted at him, is he his grandson? The old man knows that his grandson is so naughty, why is he so angry? Fu Nanli rubbed her head, but Uncle Li said that the old man is a bit lonely when it comes to horse racing. If you beat him, he can't accept it for a while. When he comes to his senses, he will appreciate you a little. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 887. Wen Qiao raised his eyebrows lazily, no hope. Anyway, she doesn't race horses to please the old man, it's just for her ranking on the wealth list. Let's see how much money I won today. Fu Nanli looked at his mobile phone, and the news release came out. Dark Horse counterattacked and won the Jockey Club Championship, with a loss of 200 million and a bonus of 10 million. He waved the phone in front of Wen Qiao's eyes, 210 million. Wen Qiao did some calculations in his mind, then I will advance in the ranking of the richest people in the country. Fu Nanli kindly reminded, I have advanced 50,000 people, and now I have entered the billion-dollar club. There are 50,000 billionaires in the country, and you are probably ranked more than 40,000. Wen Qiao raised his forehead and said, there are so many rich people. A threshold will filter out many people. When you enter the billion-dollar club, there will only be 2,000 people left, and there will only be more than 200 people in the 10 billion club. Wen Qiao said calmly, then I'll keep working hard. Fu Nanli bowed his head and kissed the top of her head, given time, you will definitely join the top 100 club. And you? Fu Nanli raised his eyebrows slightly, what about me? Where do you stand now? Fu Nanli chuckled, have you not paid attention to the rich list? The Fu family is the richest man. Wen Qiao knew that the Fu family was rich, but he didn't know that the Fu family was so rich. Where's the Lu family? Fu Nanli, the richest people come and go only in a few families, either the Lu family or the Fu family. In addition, the Song family and the He family in Haikan are all frequent visitors to the richest man. No one can always stay in the first place. In the business world it's normal to have ups and downs. Will there be any fights between your families? Of course, otherwise you would think that Lu Wenzo and I would dislike each other. Wen Xiao, I understand. Are there any games later? Wen Xiao, well, there will still be games in the UK in the second half of the year, but I feel that this time God of War has become famous in one battle, and there won't be such high odds in the future, so you won't win much. Fu Nanli, well, take your time. Those billionaires in the billionaire club are all in their 40s or 50s and are middle-aged. Wen Xiao nodded, well, they are all middle-aged. When speaking, his eyes were looking at Fu Nanli. Young Master Fu's heart skipped a beat. In Wen Xiao's eyes, he, like those in their 40s and 50s, was collectively called middle-aged. Am I considered middle-aged? Not giving up, he still asked. The reply was, aren't you considered middle-aged? Qinbei was driving, and Song'an was the co-pilot. The corners of their mouths couldn't help but turn up. The young master was asking for humiliation. Why did he have to ask such a question? Fu Nanli's forehead veins bulged slightly, I'm only 30. 30, doesn't that count as middle-aged? She asked hesitantly and tentatively, for fear that her words would be inappropriate and hit his sensitive nerves. Fu Nanli pressed his temples, of course not. From 15 to 34 years old, they are all considered young people. I can also celebrate Youth Day. Wen Xiao, I understand. Age is indeed the bottom line that he cannot touch. The two stayed at the hotel that night, and Fu Nanli called Uncle Li and asked, how is the old man feeling? Uncle Li stood in the courtyard and whispered, Master, what do you think? Are you always angry? That's not the case. I'm drinking kung fu tea. I don't have any expression, I don't talk much, I don't know what I'm thinking. Didn't you do anything else? Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 888. It seems like someone made a video call. The old man answered it. Let me take a look. Uncle Li carefully walked to the floor-to-ceiling window, covered his phone and whispered, it's Chuya who called. Fu Nanli clicked his tongue, this woman really kept trying to please her grandfather. I know, if there's nothing else, I'll hang up first. Here Fu Huayong answered Chuya's video call, and Chuya said eagerly, Grandpa Fu, I heard that you went to watch the horse racing. How about it? Your Jinglei must have won the championship again, right? Uncle Li happened to come in. Hearing Chuya's words, his heart skipped a beat. Isn't this why the pot should not be opened? I thought the old man would be angry, but I didn't expect that. Fu Huayong just smiled. Jinglei didn't take first place, but took second place. Chuya was stunned for a moment. The words of compliment were already on her lips. The old man won the title for the 6th time in a row. This time Jinglei is also the best horse race he has. He will definitely win the championship 9 times out of 10. Who would have thought that the old man's horse would stumble? Just miss the championship? But she was just stunned for a moment, and she quickly came back to her senses and said, a blessing in disguise is a blessing in disguise. Maybe Grandpa Fu will have some good things waiting for you in other areas. Fu Huayong said cheerfully, it's nothing. You don't need to comfort me. It's just that I lost a game. It's not something worth taking to heart. Chuya praised, Grandpa Fu is really broad-minded and doesn't care about gains and losses. After the compliments, she browsed the news about the horse racing meeting online, and then discovered that the news about the old man losing the championship had long been published online. She was careless and made the call without checking. If the old man was in a bad mood because he lost the game, her behavior just now was completely aimed at the gun. Fortunately, the old man didn't argue with her. Looking at the news about the champion, it was a little-known horse named Aries before entering the competition. This was the first time he participated in an event of this scale. I wanted to check the owner of this horse, but found that there was no such information online. There is only information about the jockey. The jockey's name is Song Yu, and there is a very detailed introduction. Song Yu, 21 years old, from Haikan, Country Z, is a sophomore at the Central Conservatory of Music, majoring in piano. Chiuya's eyes flashed, Yang Yin's. Wen Qiao is also from Yanjian. She hesitated and called her friend Su Ying for consultation. Do you know Wen Qiao from your school? Wen Qiao is a celebrity. Who doesn't know her? The first person to promote the development of folk music. The breath is a little sour. She is a piano teacher. In the past, Western music had an absolutely dominant position in Yanjian, and piano surpassed all others and became the most valued subject. But now, because of Wen Qiao, the superiority of her status is not as good as before. Of course she felt unhappy. What about Song Yu? Do you recognize him? Song Yu is my student and studies piano. What's wrong? Song Yu and Wen Qiao, do they know each other? When I talk about this, I get angry. Back when folk music was not taken seriously, Song Yu couldn't wait to join Wen Qiao's folk music club. Chiuya's heart trembled. Could this horse be Wen Qiao's horse? He must have been overthinking it. If Wen Qiao's horse had beaten the old man wouldn't have reacted the way he did just now. He would definitely be angry. But I heard Su Ying say over there was a message in the school group chat, saying that Wen Qiao's horse race won the championship and won a lot of money. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 889. Chiuya's hand shook, Wen Qiao's horse racing. Yes, Wen Qiao bought the horse and asked Song Yu to be the jockey. Now she will be in the limelight again. Chiuya's heart was a little ups and downs. It turned out to be Wen Qiao's horse. Therefore, the old man probably didn't know that the horse that won the championship belonged to Wen Qiao, otherwise he wouldn't have reacted that way. She hesitated for a moment, then called the old man again, and said casually, I feel that Wen Qiao is completely lucky this time. She just assumed that the old man already knew about it, since she mentioned it accidentally. The other party's anger did not come for a long time, but what he got was that girl is not lucky, maybe she is really capable. Chiuya was stunned for a moment. The old man really knew, and just now she mentioned that the old man missed the championship. He was not obviously angry, nor did he mention Wen Qiao. Wen Qiao is really a scheming girl. Her scheming is not in line with her age. She goes to work on the Fu family's farm, buys horse racing and develops common interests with the old man. She was actually compared to a girl in her early 20s. The old man is not angry. Does this mean that Wen Qiao's trick worked? The idea of cultivating common interests is really powerful. Even she couldn't help but sigh with emotion. After chatting for a few more words and confirming that Mr. Fu was indeed not angry, Chiuya hung up the phone absent-mindedly, feeling full of crisis. After staying in Macau for 2 days, Wen Qiao and Fu Nanli returned to Haikan together. Wen Qiao did not intend to publicize this matter in a high-profile manner. Making a fortune in silence was the code she had always followed. But I don't know which tabloid reporter dug up the relationship between her and Song Yu, and photographed her entering the race course. Once she dug deeper, she found out that the god of war was actually her horse. Back at school, Lu Yuya told her, "You have more admirers. Young Master Fu will be extremely jealous if he finds out." Although he has joined the $1 billion club, Wen Xiao is still an ordinary student in school. He attends classes normally, discusses music theory issues with professors normally, and rarely asks for leave. On Friday evening, Lu Yuyu drove her to the company. Lu Su's movie Tracking All the Way is almost in post-production and is scheduled to be released in theaters on July 2nd. There are some publicity issues that need to be discussed at a meeting. Arriving at Bihai Road and walking all the way, when passing Wanyi, Lu Yuyu said, "Some time ago, Xia Tang, the queen of Xia Film Festival, had a car accident, and then she didn't make it in time to attend a dinner party that night. I heard that someone was censored from a movie. This, do you know the matter?" Wen Xiao said expressionlessly, "The car accident happened in front of me." Lu Yuyu, "Ah. Really?" Wen Xiao, "When he came out of the yard, he almost hit my car. He swerved to prevent me from going straight and gave me a lesson." Lu Yuyu got angry, "Why didn't you tell me? After talking to me for a while, he was hit by another car." Lu Yuyu gritted her teeth and said, "You deserve it. Wen Xiao, you said that Queen Xia's movies were cut off. Isn't Wan Yi very powerful? And she has a very high status, but there are still people who can cut off her movies. Isn't Xiao Liang an expert at grabbing resources?" Lu Yuyu raised her eyebrows, "You don't know this, right? The company next door to us is called Huihe Media. I really don't know who the boss is, but he is very powerful. Even the resources of actress Wan Yi can be cut off. Just ask you. Awesome or not? Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me." Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 890. The car is about to arrive at Huihe and Nanqiao. There was just a bang, and the huge impact hit the passenger seat. Wen Xiao was hit and bounced up. In the darkness, Lu Yuyu's scream, the piercing whistle, and the sound of tires skidding on the ground were heard. There was a violent shock and the car hit the trunk of a camphor tree. The car stopped, and the airbag popped open, hitting Wen Xiao in the face. Lu Yuyu was still shouting. Wen Xiao quickly calmed down, "Yuyu, it's okay." Lu Yuyu looked up and saw that the front hood of the car was smoking. If she hadn't driven an expensive car, she and Xiao would have been injured in the collision. She turned around and saw that the culprit was a Maybach. Driving a luxury car is amazing. Don't people who drive luxury cars have eyes? She struggled to unbuckle her seat belt. Xiao, are you not injured?" "No." Lu Yuyu got out of the car angrily, walked to the Maybach, and patted the front cover of the car. "You came out of the yard, drove the car at a speed of 80 miles, and rushed to reincarnate." Wen Xiao also got out of the car and hit his elbow on the car door, feeling severe pain. Looking at the luxury car, there was a young man in the driver's seat, a girl in her 20s in the passenger seat, and there seemed to be another man in the back seat. Teresa, the co-pilot, immediately got out of the car. Just as she was about to apologize, she heard the sound of the car door. When she looked back, her husband also got out of the car. Lu Yuyu was still looking fierce just now, but when she saw the face of the man who got out of the car, her expression immediately softened a lot. Because the guy who came down was a handsome guy, a big handsome guy. He was very tall, with high eyebrows and deep eyes. He had both good and evil temperament. He was wearing a handmade suit, and he looked cool and cool. When Wen Xiao saw Lu Yuyu, he immediately changed his face, held his forehead, and whispered, "Dong Yao knows that you show such an info to other men, you will be finished." Lu Yuyu said seriously, "Yes, I can't be fooled by beauty." Then he shouted to the man, "You violated traffic laws, drove at an excessive speed, and did not allow you to go straight when turning. You are so unethical. I'm sorry. It was my driver's fault. We will compensate you too for your losses." The man in front of him was obviously smiling, but Wen Xiao felt that his smile did not reach his eyes, and he must be a very cold and ruthless man underneath. Lu Yu originally wanted to talk a lot about theory, but she was afraid that the other party would not admit it, and she was afraid that the other party would get entangled with them. I didn't expect the other party to admit his mistake so readily, and could only say, actually, it's not about money. Of course, we still have to pay for the money. The cost of repairing our vehicle and the cost of my 2 visits to the hospital for examinations all have to be paid. The key point is what's more, you driver came out of the yard. Why did you drive so fast? I don't know, but I thought you were there on purpose, waiting for us to get here, and hit you hard. Do you have a grudge against us or something? Hizaway smiled. Ask your insurance manager to calculate for you how much compensation it will cost. You seem to be from Nankiao company next door, right? Lu Yu was stunned, and the other party seemed not to hear her. But since you have to lose money, that's okay. Yes, from our Nankiao company. Your car broke down. I will ask my driver to take you to the hospital for a checkup. I will bear all the expenses. Wen Qiao waved his hand. We all suffered minor injuries, so we don't need to go to the hospital. Lu Yu pulled her and walked towards the Maybach. What if there is any hidden hurt? He won't admit it when the time comes.